just as I was speaking, I've been told that a representative from the Embassy of Nepal, Democratic Republic of Nepal.
Inqilab Zindabad. Inqilab Zindabad.
You know, as Lenin rightly said, small nations can be catalysts for big acts all over the place. What the Nepalese have done is plant the flag of the October Revolution on the highest mountain in the world, in the Himalayas. Comrade, you're very welcome here, and you're among friends, and you don't frighten us as a monster that you're portrayed by imperialism. So it's really a gathering, if you like, of an international family. We hope one day we will all be ruling parties, and that there will be unity among the people of the world, Asians, Africans, Latin Americans, everybody together.
Europeans?
And Europeans.
Who knows?
There are these difficult people who will include Europeans, Australasians, everybody. And it's really not the differences in people's religions, in their racial features, in their national backgrounds that divides people. It's imperialism and capitalism that divides people. The old Soviet Union was a perfectly good example how dozens of nationalities could live in fraternal harmony. The moment the socialist system collapsed, it all turns into fratricidal warfare, and that's what's happened. Because a couple of dozen mafiosi have taken over and stolen the wealth of the Soviet people. And now everybody is fighting for a little bit of bread, and that's why there is fight. Over here, everybody blames the foreigner. And what's more, people who, like me, were foreigners 30, 40 years ago, blame the new arrivals. The imperialism has this wonderful system of dividing people. And it's like immigration. It's a bit like birth control. Everybody who's born or who has successfully entered a foreign country said that was wonderful. When he was born, the world was blessed. When he was actually able to emigrate, it was a wonderful occasion. But nobody else should be allowed to come. The birth of a new baby, the arrival of a new immigrant spells nothing but disaster. No comment. People are not the problem. Imperialism is the problem. Overpopulation is not the problem. At one time, European working class was told by the bourgeoisie, you're poor because you have too many children. This doesn't work anymore in Western Europe. That's what they're telling the third world countries. You're poor because you have too many children. Look at Africa, the poorest continent in the world. And if you look at the per square mile of the population in Africa, it's the lowest in the world. It's the richest continent in the world. Africa is poor precisely because it's run by imperialism and it's exploited to the hilt by imperialism. Congo is at the heart of Africa. It literally is the heart of Africa. It's got every mineral. And Congo is cursed, not because it's poor, because it's too rich. It's too rich to be left alone. That's why. And the Cubans have done a wonderful job in Congo. They have supported the Congolese people. Cubans have gone everywhere in Africa. Because Cubans proudly say, as Fidel says, we're not just Latins, we're also Africans. We're not Latin Americans, we're Africans as well. And the armies of Cuba have gone to several countries to help them defend their sovereignty or to fight against the apartheid regime. Had it not been for the Cubans in Angola, the apartheid regime would probably still be existing in South Africa. So comrades, you have made a wonderful contribution, and all the socialist countries, Chinese have, the DPRK have, the Nepalese are the latest entrants in this struggle where they have made a contribution. And actually the Nepalese revolution is a continuing invitation to the Indian comrades to do something like the Nepalese have done. saying in India, if the Nepalese can do it, why can't we? They're right. They've got to get their act together, and they can. And finally, comrades, I need to welcome people who don't represent governing socialist parties. And the chief among them is here, Comrade Jack Shapiro. Jack Shapiro is not just an individual. Jack Shapiro represents a whole era of the successes of socialism, the defeat of Nazism, and unfortunately, through the ravages of revisionism, the defeat of socialism in the old Soviet Union and Central Europe. But notwithstanding all that, Jack has stood firm like a rock. He has not swum with the tide. He hasn't become fashionable. Jack continues to support the cause of socialism as much now as he did when he was a 16-year-old boy. I had difficulty persuading Jack to be associated with us. I had difficulty persuading anybody to be associated with us. But especially Jack. Jack is a difficult person to bring down. And I told him when he actually finally, thanks for the applause. And then when he finally agreed, I told him, Jack, we're going to use the maximum of you. You have accumulated experience of 9 decades, and that is not going to be allowed to be wasted, and you're going to work for us. Jack has worked with us. He has been a continued source of inspiration to us. Inspiration in 2 ways. The very fact that he's present is an inspiration. And then he comes and gives his cheerful and fiercely communist speeches, and it makes 20-year-old people think, why can't we be like him? Like any Marxist, of course we age. You know, to adapt the old poem, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Reversing it, if Jack gets older, can it be long before I'm old? We all get old, but we don't have to become defeated as a result of that. You know, we are communists, we are never old enough to do work for the movement. And Jack continues to do that. I will not relate to you the wonderful things Jack has done for us, and it's a pleasure to have him. And Jack, as far as I'm concerned, no meeting of ours is complete without your presence. I've already spoken too long, but I'm more interested. I'm going to ask our various guests to say a few words on this evening. And then when that is over, we shall feast, and you talk to your next door person. And if you feel you don't want to talk to the next door person, don't talk. It's not compulsory.